Well, hello everyone. We are back from break. It is episode 189 of Hotline League. It's good to be back, I guess is what I was going to say. I was trying to figure out the most wonderful way to let everyone know that I missed you, and I stumbled over. Anyway, I'm joined by my constant co-host Mark Zimmerman. How's it going, Mark?
Good.
How was your break?
Good.
Nice. Yeah. So for those of you that were confused as to why we didn't have an episode last week, we talked about it the week before, but we went on a brief hiatus. I unplugged last week. Mark went and drank a bunch of wine, and it was great. And Raz, what did you do last week, Raz?
Nothing.
Really?
That's how we do it here.
That's how we do it
no
out
one
here.
does shit.
We just, the moment the LCS ends, I cease to exist. That's my life. That's what I'm out here doing.
I was talking to Ashley about this. I was like, I don't think I have anything to tweet. I didn't tweet for a couple of days in a row, and I was like, I have nothing of value to put out into the world if LCS is not happening or Worlds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, here's the thing. One thing that I definitely don't do during the regular season is care for my household. so, like, now that I'm here consistently, I've just been literally taking care of the place, adding furniture, building furniture with it, which is a huge pain in the ass. But that's been one aspect of it.
What have you been building? What furniture did you get?
I got a new desk, or at least like a desk for what's it called, TV and all that. And then for the room that's existing here, you're gonna see a different setup than you usually do because usually you just see the bed. I just completely shifted the room. I definitely scratched up the wall, but I don't have to deal with that.
I thought we used to see like a kitchen counter.
Huh?
A kitchen counter. Wasn't there normally like a counter or something behind you?
No, there's a bed for when I'm streaming on my PC, but there's always a kitchen counter when I'm making random Twitter videos.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, regardless, very exciting. I like that you have the lights. I guess I should finally, it's been so many years, I feel like, since Mark and I have done the fancy light stuff. You're now doing it. Mark has something going on in his place. I don't know. He's got the lights off. It maybe is what he's got.
Lights off right now.
Yeah.
It's moody.
Well, Mark, I know you didn't tweet anything. What do you got? What have you consumed? You played any games?
So I'm playing some Genshin Impact again. I logged back in.
Wait, you have to wait for me for Worlds.
Well, so I logged back in, and I had apparently like 13,000 Primo Gems saved up, and I just shit all those at trying to get Raiden Shogun balls, and I didn't get any. I got Jean twice.
Jean?
So,
she's the best.
Yeah,
you didn't have her before, right?
No, I didn't. I got 2 of her.
Nice. Well,
not happy.
Congratulations. I'm glad that you're prepping. Are we going to play it done during Worlds?
I don't know. I'm probably going to get burned out before Worlds even starts.
No, stop. This was our thing. If I can't go to Iceland and I can't go to Berlin, then this is the next best thing is you and I playing Genshin all night long.
I've been watching some TV shows. I can't remember any of them right now. I've watched some movies. Those also elude me. I need to make lists. I really need to make lists.
You can make a letterbox. Have you ever heard of letterbox? Have you heard of letterbox, Mark?
Oh, okay, you're getting weatherbox.
Stop talking over him. What did you say, Squid Game?
Squid Games. Squid Games is a great, it's like a Korean TV show. I wouldn't say drama, it kind of is, but it's like 8 episodes long. It's like an hour-long episodes. I think a few people have probably seen it in the chat because it's on Netflix, and it's super good. It's a damn good show.
What did you think of Alice in Borderlands?
It's basically like that, but I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, because I watched that, and I thought it was just okay. I wasn't actually that big of a fan of
shit. Okay, we have a problem.
Well, I haven't seen it. You said you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, but most people that liked Alice in Borderlands say they're liking this show, so correlation, I don't know.
Shit, what am I watching? Oh, there's Why the Last Man. Gave that a crack. Ashley's liking that. It's based on a graphic novel.
Shit, people are saying Alice in Borderland. One person saying Alice in Borderland is better than Squid Game. So Look, they're different shows, so I'm sure you will like this one a little better. Okay.
Well,
I've
give
been
it a
reading
chance.
the three body problem. That's probably the biggest thing I can remember.
oh yeah,
Love it.
I
I'm
finished.
digging it.
I finished things that I can mention. I finished Cycle of Galand, so maybe I should do a YouTube video about it. It's a series, and then a book series, and then I rewatched the three Matrix films because they're on HBO Go right now, and Matrix 4 is coming out. What is that, Mark?
Don't you just stop at one? What do you need 2 and 3 for?
I mean, I wanted to see what they were like because I hadn't seen them since like I don't know when they came out.
Oh,
But
Matrix,
they hold
yeah.
up.
2006 or something. I think what's funny is I was better able to appreciate them when I was younger, and I couldn't be like, wow, it's really weird and jarring how they switched from a really philosophical, cool in the Matrix thing to now like in movie 3 we've got just 30 straight minutes of robot bots invading an underground lair and just people shooting guns from mechs and stuff. I'm like, this is a pretty big tonal and content change from one. So I think I'm better able as an adult now to identify why it was that those ones were not so great, because I remember at the time being kind of disappointed by them, but they were
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I always felt like the first movie had like a major theme and it was kind of attacking like a concept, and it felt like very much like Inception. I couldn't hit that like as a movie about a concept, and it like really questions a lot of aspects of your life. While 2 and 3 are literally just like, no, this is about the story. This is
Yeah.
about the story of these people that you probably liked about the first movie, and doesn't really have that kind of aspect of it.
I don't know, whatever.
The
Anyway,
first one. Well,
Okay.
the first one also had all the actors actually take like 6 months of martial arts training to be able to make good martial arts scenes. And then the second and third one, they're like, CGI that bitch, let's go. And I just like the fucking scene where he fought a million Agent Smiths in the second one. He, like,
I
ran
remember
around
I
the
saw that. I
pole.
got bored during it. I was like, this is
I got bored, and it just looked funny when he's like just noodle legging all the Agent Smiths.
well,
I'm
especially
like,
because
wait,
CGI is gone a lot better. So I'm sure. So I feel like it's
wasn't
easier
even
now
good
to
then.
identify bad CGI.
It
I'm just-
wasn't even good then.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, shout out to Alienware and Game Fuel. I saw Mark drinking a Game Fuel. I'm drinking back in stock. We'll talk about it later, but the Courageous Sherbet is available. So
You should have gave me one of those while I was over today.
I should have, but I forgot. I felt like you were in a rush to leave.
Yeah, it
You
was.
walked in and you're like, "Where's the bag?" And
Give me the loot and get out of there.
Yeah. yeah. Anyway, the drug deal was done today. So what happened while I was unplugged? So Bjerg coming back. It seems like people are still very unsure about that, but I will just say that like I also heard that during the break from like right shortly before it was reported. So I definitely think that is a thing, is that he wants to come back and play, and certainly the streaming stuff somewhat very interesting. I don't think it was that unusual that Bjerg started streaming the day within like 24 hours of that story coming out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a call about it for sure. So I'll save my piece on the Bjerg return.
Okay. What else happened in the past 2 weeks, Twitch chat? Please let us know. I don't know, Raz or Mark, if you guys have anything. I know, Mark, you said you think we only have one idea or one thing for this week, so
Yeah, it's
maybe you
Bjergsen.
got nothing. I know like
than
there's some
Bjergsen.
G2
there is-
stuff.
There is a lot of drama across the Pacific with the G2 players basically vague tweeting, that they're in prison. There's a little bit of that.
So I missed so they've actually been tweeting.
Contract prison.
They've
Oh,
actually been tweeting?
Atlantic. Okay, fine, guys. It was a 50,
I was confused. I wasn't going to say
flip.
anything.
It was a 50-50 coin flip, and I was so confident too.
Side of the border, we got all those G2 players.
Down in the Gulf of Mexico, we've got G2 players who are just closer visa issues.
Oh, that too. I mean, who's gonna ask about that? Unless if they really believe that it's like not gonna be on time of like actual practice. It actually is a concern. That is a concern, yeah.
So what, is he just not able to enter where like Iceland?
Yeah, wherever it is. So Iceland, because I'm sure he has Turkish visa and all that. So like, I'm sure that's a little harder to maneuver. So
I'm just wondering if he can, at least for like scrimming and stuff like that, he can stay somewhere else in Europe, and then we're okay. I don't know.
True.
All right. Stick to the Matrix, Raz. Somebody says.
I gotta ask you a question, Travis, before we head into real topics. Is it me that's hit? Like, is it on my end or your end that my camera is 10 FPS? What's going on here? Are you trying to sabotage me on my return, Travis?
I think it's on your end because Mark seems fine.
When I look at Skype.
Oh, you know what it is? It's probably because it's so dark in your room that your camera is dropping down to try to...
Is that a thing?
I think so.
That's not a thing. Well, it depends what kind of camera he has. Is that a digital or is that a...
Seems like it's a lot better now.
Yeah, maybe it's better. Who knows?
I think
what camera do you have?
Huh? What kind of camera? I have no idea. The funny thing is, it's the brand is called Papa Look, and it has like a blue LED that's been like that. When I first got it, was just on for a week, even when it was off. So I was so concerned. It was like, I've never heard of a company before, but it's named Papa Look that has a light on at all times. So
yeah, you should probably look into that. Just
I turned the LED off, but I was like, why does this exist?
Does it have some drivers that it installs that are always running too?
Thinking emoji.
Okay.
I had to deal with a few. Okay, go on.
So sounds like we're going to have a lot of open mic stuff tonight. So we'll have to see how this goes, but
it's Worlds time. People are just going to talk about Worlds and, a few things about North America.
Riot still hasn't put out when the Worlds group draw is happening, right?
Yeah, I still haven't heard anything on that end. Only that it's on October 5th that Worlds is starting.
Right. We have the schedule. So. I don't know if we had the schedule last time. And so I am very... Mark and Raz, are you guys still here? Before we got interrupted, I was talking about the World schedule, which I don't believe was out before the last Hotline League, correct?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
So we now know that it's... Did we know September 9th was the last... okay, yeah. So now we also know the World's location and format. So that's another thing we can talk about, is because before we didn't know it was only going to be in Reykjavik, or I think maybe we... Like the news had come up, but it hadn't been official. And then we now also have the format. It is super compressed. Normally, Worlds takes place over like 5 or 6 weeks. It is now taking place in basically 1 month, October 5th to November 6th. So that is also something that's really interesting. I think I want to know what everybody thinks about the new schedule, because it's looking pretty intense. Few gaps here and there. So lots to talk about tonight.
Just having on a camera, or at least on a monitor. I mean,
what's that?
I'm just trying to open it up to see if I can have it on a monitor.
I will share it in the Twitch chat.
Ooh, is Travis not gracious?
Yeah. Okay. So, without further ado, sorry again for the technical issues, everyone. Without further ado, shall we get into callers?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I'll do the spiel before we go.
Give us the spiel.
Call me Steven Spielberg.
No.
If you've never been on this show before, it's a live call-in show. I'm spamming Discord link in the Twitch chat. Go ahead, join up at that Discord. When you get there, go join the voice channel, Pleb Calls. Mute your microphone when you get in there. And then the Pleb Topics text channel just above it. That's where you'll go ahead and put your topics. It's a low night, as you might expect, with not too much news. So it's a good time to try and get in here and get on the show if it's your first time. If I like your topic, I'll pull you down from the Pleb Calls voice channel into the waiting room, where you will hang out until it's your turn. We'll do a quick audio check, make sure everything's working, and then we will get you on air to talk about it.
And if you are a sub, first off, thank you for being a sub. Feel free to put your topic in the subtopics channel. We'll bring you into the subtopics wait room. It's not a guarantee you'll get on the show, but it does help a little bit whenever the Pleb Topics one is going pretty wild, and we really do appreciate that. Oh yeah, also Vietnam. Vietnam hasn't officially been ruled out yet. So
because there's that campaign, right?
I'm pretty sure it's ruled out. I mean, they basically said in this post, like, were moving forward, and they already moved Rogue up. So I don't think that
If
they're
they
planning
somehow
on
make it,
anything.
if they somehow make it, because there was that last ditch effort, then I'm sure they would have. There's an extra space in groups. Groups of play-ins. But yeah, it's not looking likely. Vietnam. It sucks because even seeing Levi's post about how they were scrimming every day with the full intent of at least making it to Worlds, knowing that summer split didn't exist, and then now they get the call pretty much last second that they can't make it to Worlds. So imagine like putting all your fucking time into the game and it means nothing. That's insane.
It's
So
actually
it is
crazy
what
to
it
me because I don't think people realize how massive League of Legends is in Vietnam. It's huge, and so I feel really bad because I'm sure these past 2 years, obviously there are really terrible things that have been happening across the world. So maybe in the grand scheme of things, but still, it's like just really shitty because I feel like the Vietnamese League esports scene has probably just been like pummeled with this a lot of issues recently. So definitely feels a bummer for them. All right, Mark is already pulling some callers, which is great to see. Love to see it.
Question.
Yeah.
What genre of music will the world's song be?
Is the 2020 World Championship? 2021 World. Is it not out?
No, it's the orchestral one is out. So the
orchestral.
thing,
Okay. So they don't have like the big one.
Not the big one. I'm gonna say it's pop, like big thing like season 4 when they had Chrissy Costanza type of thing. I don't think it's gonna be rap. No.
I don't think it'll be rap.
I'm gonna take the dark horse and it's gonna be country.
Wow.
I mean, this was originally going to be in China, so I'm just trying to think of like genres of music that are popular in China, and I don't think country is, in my limited time
next year,
but multiple times visiting China.
Don't you just see like a bunch of Chinese citizens with like red solo cups and cowboy hats and boots on, filling up stadiums to like Keith Urban? Doesn't that just sound?
No joke, next year, when it comes to North America, you're going to get some cake coming up. We're going to Texas for group stage.
Oh, God.
And Oklahoma for quarters. I'm ready for it.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Anyway, okay.
Well, Travis, you gotta give us something a little more. I said country. Raz said some kind of pop.
No, I mean, I would just go with pop as well. I feel like that's what's most likely, given that it was going to be in China, and I also feel like the year that they did, like, I don't know what the genre was in 2019, but it was closer to what rap and stuff, and I feel like that did not do as well.
No, 19 was Chris's Phoenix. There was no rap in that.
Oh, I was thinking of the True Damage thing that they did that year.
Oh, but that wasn't.
It's not the world's anthem. I mean, they released multiple songs around this time. So.
Well, so you just didn't answer the fucking question. Thanks.
Yeah, I am not a musician, Mark.
Not the ancillary
I am not a musician, Mark. I cannot speak to what
collabs
they're going to do here.
Some stadium rock? You think they're going to do some power ballads? You think they're going to do whatever Takeover was supposed to be, which was like kind of rappy, kind of hard, but wasn't really?
I think it's going to be orchestral.
It's not going to be orchestral. It's going to be the same shitty pop that everybody in the world loves.
This is what
everyone is uninteresting. Everyone has no taste. So it's just going to be run-of-the-mill pop song that hits every genre. Okay?
Olivia Rodrigo collab. That's what I want. Okay.
I'd rather have like a hard, like an actual rap one. Like just actually like go into these instead of giving like the watered down versions of them. Like you get the Day to Remember guy and you don't let him scream. Like what are we doing here? Get a rapper and actually let him rap. How about that? Crazy.
I want Olivia Rodrigo song about G2 breaking up. I realize that LEC already has. No, she's got a bunch of angry breakup songs too. So
the ones that she stole from Paramore.
Okay.
We need the breakup songs for North American worlds. Okay?
They only gave Haley Williams writing credit on one, I believe. So, shall we get the callers, Mark?
The one that she got with her hand caught in the cookie jar. That's the one they gave credit for.
Should we get the callers, Mark?
Ask their opinion on this matter, Mark. That seems to be. I don't care about what their question is. This is the question.
All right, here we go. Thank you to D-Fitch, Real Foxy 1 for 46 months, Pluto for 42, Trevor Monreal, Colors in Bloom, Chevol, and
Hey,
it looks like
Moghul, what do you think of Olivia Rodrigo?
I'm gonna be honest. She is a very, very talented woman, and
there
that's
we
all.
go. Mogul is here. Mogul, where are you calling from?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Okay, well, first off, how are you feeling about the spring finals announcement for next year?
I am stoked. I'm trying to see if I can make the time to go. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And if they do groups in Texas, like Raz said, I would also be hype.
I doubt they're
saying.
doing groups in Texas, but we'll see. Well, what do you want to talk about on the show?
They'd have a
Real
good theme
quick,
song if it was in
Travis.
Texas.
Ashley came in and said, "Are you talking shit about Olivia Rodrigo?" She got mad. You two
Nice.
can gang up on me.
Another thing that Ashley and I have in common, besides having to deal with you. Okay, Mogul, sorry.
She wouldn't need Travis to gang up on you. She'd take you with her own 2 fists.
Mark keeps trying to derail our first call. I'm just trying to bring it in. Mogul, what do you want to talk about on the show?
So I have a little bit of a spicy take. At least I think that's why Mark picked me. My take is there's no way that Bjergsen leaves TSM. But the real question we need to ask is that Bjergsen coming back is Bjergsen coming back enough to bring Doublelift back to TSM?
No.
And I
Okay,
ain't
so
going back.
okay, okay. So your first take was what are we starting with here? What did you put in the chat as your take?
Yeah, my take was there's no way that Bjergsen leaves TSM.
Okay.
It was. There's no way Bjergsen leaves CSM, and is that enough to bring Doublelift back? Too?
Yeah,
So I think
let's start with the Doublelift thing because I feel like that's easily dispensed with. No, I feel like he's really enjoying retirement. He's enjoying, working. I assume I haven't seen what his streaming hours are lately, but especially like after the co-streaming's done, I doubt that he's been grinding hard. I would be shocked if he came back. Let's put it that way. I did not feel that way about Bjerg.
let me ask you this: what's a bigger incentive for Doublelift returning? Bjergsen coming back, or if NA won Worlds?
I mean, that's an easy one
Bjergsen
all
coming
time.
back, I guess. I mean, I don't think he comes back in either one of these scenarios, but I feel like if NA wins Worlds, he's just like really mixed in both being salty and also happy for the region, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, for sure the Worlds thing. Worlds, look, winning Worlds literally ignites a fire not in just the competitors, but in actual people, like casuals as well. Like when China won Worlds for the first time, I think this was back when Invictus Gaming took it. Like I literally couldn't log into League. Like it was just.
I know it has a
took me,
tremendous
like,
impact.
It took me about an hour, and I never had that problem when I was in China. Like people will get fired up. I think that's like if NA won Worlds, what that would mean is that like North America would be like that changes the narrative on those teams, right? So now is that going to happen? No, that's not going to happen. But this is not at all. But to the question about like would Doublelift come back if Bjergsen comes back? No, I think he's been like this is like the #1 question he would answer on stream basically because he would get that constantly, and he was just like no, he's done with it. Mentioned it multiple times. He's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's happy where his career is at.
I also don't even know like it felt like twice he left TSM on at least this is from the outside perspective on not great terms, right? Like people forget that it was kind of weird where there was back and forth on whether or not he was going to be playing and what support they were going to get, and then he like randomly announced it right before they announced their lineup. Bjerg coming back I don't think means anything. I don't want people to think that there's a chance of this, but like I think what is more, if you really don't think Bjerg won't leave TSM, then I think it's even less likely because the only thing that I could think that would be interesting is if some sort of super team gets formed where like somebody comes in, buys one of these teams and it's like, haha, I'll spend 10 million on 5 or 10 million each on 5 players across 3 years, and like they form like a super team with Bjerg and Double and some G2 players or something like that. I just don't.
Yeah, that'd bring someone back. That's true.
Yeah. I just don't. And if that's the case, I feel like that team would probably just find a different AD than Peter. So I don't think that the Peter stuff. So let's talk about Bjerg leaving TSM. I don't know, Mark or Raz, if you guys want to kick us off on if you think there's a chance.
I think there's a chance. I think with the $210 million investment over 10 years from FTX, Bjerg's got some ownership. Maybe it's looking like a decent time to cash out and then go play wherever maybe there's something that really appeals to him. But if there's not something that's like jumping off the page as an offer that's like, holy fuck, I should go over there, I don't know why he wouldn't just stick with TSM. I don't know if Raz feels different.
Yeah, I think he sticks with TSM because he already has quite a bit there, I'm assuming, from what I've heard. And on top of that, like TSM 100% would want him to stay on the team. So they would, whatever conversations would happen between him and like his agent and TSM, like they would try to land him on the team. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And TSM, I mean, they were in regular season a first place team, and he could easily say like, oh, if I was in this position, like we would go to Worlds and like. So I do think that, and also I think becoming a coach for a year actually adds a lot of perspective and how to communicate with people, like how to discuss things that you need from the players around you and how to get the best of your team and your coaching staff. So I think he comes back, smarter about the game, even though he was already pretty fucking good at that. So to answer the question, I don't think there really is a chance for him to leave. There's always could be a team that throws money at him, but TSM would literally be that team. So
I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I think it's very likely he leaves TSM.
Oh my God.
So in the past, one, I don't think he cares about money. I think he cares about competition. He's always cared about competition, and he's always wanted to succeed and be great. And so I think Bjergsen... So one thing that's really interesting is Bjergsen has never hit the open market before as a player. He's always re-signed before, and I think there were a lot of people that thought it was sort of short-sighted. I think he didn't because he was just like, I want to be at TSM because I think this is the best chance for me. And so he did what he did, and he took the equity stuff and all that. I don't think he's had an agent before either. But right around this time that this stuff hit, he updated his profile with business inquiries. And that is not an email that is associated with TSM's agency, which is, I forget what it's called. Icon. So like he's not being represented by TSM's agency, where if he was like fully bought in on the TSM dream, I think that business inquiries email looks like a TSM agency thing. So does that mean he's definitely going to leave TSM? No. But my suspicion is he's entering offseason wanting to be a player for a very competitive team, and he will probably choose whichever team is best for him. And I don't suspect that will necessarily be TSM. I don't think they'll necessarily be the most competitive. Think about this. How out of the past 4 years, how many times has TSM gone to Worlds? One of the 4. And when they did go to Worlds, they went 0-6. So
It's a more fun question for you. When's the last time TSM won a game at Worlds?
yeah, I mean 5 years ago, right?
Probably 2018.
No, because
No,
it was the last time Peter was on the team before he joined Team Liquid. And he joined 2017.
Wow.
So from an international perspective, and now obviously Bjerg's been a huge part of that, so you can blame himself or something like that. But from an international perspective, TSM is not. I don't know. It's just I think the last time you won anything at an international event was Worlds 2017, and you're going into the 2022 season, and you really care about competition, there's a good chance that like you're saying I'm keeping all options open, and TSM is one of those options, but I want to see what else is out there. A great example, like let's just play with the idea of Cloud9. I think we had previously on the show discussion about at what point in time does Cloud9 feel really disappointed about perks? And I think Mark and one of our other guests, maybe it was you, Raz, I forget, said that he's got this Worlds to kind of prove himself because I don't think he lived up to people's expectations this year and people or during the regular season. So if you're Bjerg and you're like, well, Cloud9 almost always goes to Worlds and I can be part of this team or something like that, and Perks, does something else, maybe Jack's like, I don't want to spend this Perks money anymore or something. Like, I don't see why he wouldn't. I know it's weird to think about C9 Bjergsen, but I think he would just go to wherever the best competitive option is. He's at the end of his career, right? Like, he's coming back, but it's not going to be to play another decade. So,
look, I'm sure, like, I agree with the sentiment, but here's the thing, like, aligning with the point about having another agency, your agent will always tell you in any sport, like, if you were really good, and Bjergsen is just, like, historically our best mid laner, go into free agency, because the team that you want will want you and will try and pick you up. And TSM, in my opinion, is a team that he's won. He's we've already talked about the financial incentives that are along with that, and he also, I'm sure, would have the power to surround himself with players he wants to play with, and he already knows like the speakers on that team. So I'm just saying, from the perspective of yes, the best competitive team, he will have the power to build that. Like, there is no way that a Bjergsen wouldn't have the power to build that team going into the next year, or at least like have a say in that. And yeah, TSM would throw money at him. So
I also just don't think that I don't think any of us would know he's potentially coming back as a player if he wasn't considering something other than TSM. The reason news like this gets out is because people in Team Bjergsen or Bjergsen camp,
he's like his agents,
want people to know that he is on the board for the offseason this year and to consider that. So that is oftentimes why this stuff gets out.
The only other way it ever gets out is like a phone call in the back of a stream.
That's true. And it didn't come from that. So okay. That is my take. I think there's a very good chance he leaves. I think it's totally a thing. If he stays with TSM, I don't think it'll be because he didn't consider other options, which is a first, I think, in his career since joining TSM. Mogul, what do you think of all this stuff? We've got some extra time for extended calls, so I'm curious if you very much disagree with any of this.
Well, so I think the only question I really have is, I've seen a couple of comparisons where people compare Bjergsen to the Faker. And Faker never left SKT, and he's gotten so many offers from so many different teams, and he's just never left SKT. So, in similar vein, why would Bjergsen leave TSM?
Because you never leave a team until you do. Just saying he's never left a team before means that he won't. I mean, Faker might leave SKT. I know that sounds crazy, but when is his contract up? I know he signed he re-signed a 3-year deal with T1. Okay, this is in the beginning of 2020. So he's got another year, but I don't know if he's extended it.
Tyna's definitely throwing money at Faker. I will say, though, that Bjergsen did leave a team. He left Ninjas in Pajamas. Like, that did happen when he initially came to North America. And I think now there are more competitors in the sense of competitors willing to throw a shitload of money at you with how Cloud9 is done. And I'm sure 100 Thieves, right? I'm sure also on top of that with the Wolves, I'm not too sure if it's the Timberwolves. I actually have no idea who they are that went into Evil Geniuses, because I know they're a football team. But anyways, Evil Geniuses has money now, so there are more teams in North America willing to throw, and they already were willing to throw money. Now it's an absurd amount of money. So
I'm trying to find the contract database because people. Yeah, guys, I know that Faker is a part owner in SKT. Bjergsen is also a part owner in TSM. Ownership is not like a until you die situation. And again,
the C9 guys had ownership in C9, and they were forced to give it up because that wasn't allowed at the time. So it's very possible to. The ownership is obviously something that you have to consider, but yeah.
So I don't know. To the caller's point, I don't think that the argument of, well, he's never left the team and neither has Faker is enough to get me over the idea that he's just there forever.
Yeah, and just a correction from the chat. It was Copenhagen Wolves. So like he did leave a team. So he's had that experience really early on in his career. So
Faker's contract expires November 15th, 2021. Just so everybody knows. I believe he's the only player. No, Cuz also the 21st, but a lot of these are through 2022. So, look, I don't think anybody would have predicted Perks leaving G2 to join C9. So all I'm saying is nothing ever surprises me anymore.
to be fair, a lot of people on G2 are going to be leaving G2 probably. Throw that into the midst.
Anyway, Mogul, sorry I disagree with your take, but it seems like Raz and Mark are more amiable to it. So,
I think the bottom line is, if Bjergsen finds himself on a TSM where he's not surrounded by the players he wants, I'm pretty amenable to him leaving, but I just don't see a world where TSM doesn't bend the earth and try to appease Bjergsen.
True. I wonder what the relationship is like with TSM now. I don't know. Maybe it's still as good as it's always been, but it's very interesting to me that we're in this situation.
It's very appropriate you said bend the earth, because I feel like that's what they would have to do if Bjerg wants to win, is they'd have to bend the earth and put North America next to Korea.
There it is.
It was like in China.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks, Mogul, for the call. Anything you want to shout out? Mogul?
Really only want to shout out Raz for being a handsome man.
Very good. Thank you for the call, Mogul, and we'll catch you next time. Was he kind of cutting out for anybody else, or is my Discord going wonky? I don't know if
my Discord's always shit, so I don't know.
Okay.
I was actually I was sad because you said shout out to Raz because he was a man. I was like, what? What man was I?
He said handsome man.
Handsome man.
I heard that.
Yeah, he said handsome man.
I appreciate that.
Discord just having issues. Okay. Off Mark goes to grab our next caller. Thank you to Nodak for the 100 bits and the gift to Raz. I'm sure he'll appreciate that sub. Fisham Olsen for the 14 months. Adam for the 18. Flick Nickum. Frozen Turd. Hippo Squirrel. Sinolik. I love you chat for 45 months. Fog Warning. Nodak with the bits. Hiwa. Community Streams. 1997 for 18. Mr. Cheese for 38. B-Crow. Ari Waddle for 38. Hannon. And ProStar.
We got OGKush, the topic thief here.
Uh-oh. OGKush is back. You've been on the show before, yes?
I love your name, OG.
I know it, dude. It's great to be back with Raz. I mean, it's just meant to be. It's been multiple times when I've been on the show when Raz has been here, so it's the dream combo.
Remind me of the topic thief situation, or is this relevant now?
It's just to fill, the topic thief. It's not a thief. I'm filling in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Someone had a topic. They couldn't. I was gonna pull it, but the guy couldn't come on the show. So I was like, anyone want it?
Gotcha.
So he's the topic messenger, not a thief.
Well, the funny thing was he copy and pasted the guy's message like it was his own. It was like word for word. He just copy and pasted. He didn't He wasn't like, oh, I'll take it. He just.
Nice. I like it. That should be a new thing. The people, because we often get messages from people that are like, I don't want to come on the show, or like I'm too shy, or something like that. And they'll send me these like in a DM or an email or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to just bring up your take by proxy and like argue it. But I like the idea of a new thing where there are like Hotline League mercenaries that will take people's ideas. Yeah.
Hey, I'll sign me up for that, for real.
OGKush, remind everybody where you are calling from.
Yeah, I'm calling from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Chapel Hill, North Carolina. What do you want to talk about on the show?
So what I am messaging for the show today from Mr. Zurzu, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but basically the take is Bjergsen got enough money from all his time in TSM, and if he truly wants to compete with like competent teammates and finally get out of groups at Worlds, then he should be looking to join a good LEC team, which I definitely like understand the sentiment, but the one thing that like on top of that I think is maybe an important point of discussion is that Bjergsen's a part owner of TSM, so it feels really awkward for him to be playing on a team that's not TSM, and I'm not sure what PoE's contract deal is and whatnot, if that would require some kind of crazy buyout situation or whatever, but that's one kind of additional part to that, is that wouldn't be as awkward for him if he's playing in LEC while owning an NA team. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, if you look back at my 2019 takes, definitely much more of an NA optimist back then. But yeah, I'm an NA pessimist nowadays. So yeah, if Bjergsen wants to get get some success, go overseas fight for it.
We're losing him.
OGKush, when did you start watching League? 2019, you're still optimistic, but like, how fresh were you at 2019?
So I started watching. I'm a bit of a late bloomer. I started watching in 2016. The 2016 Worlds that was in NA was the first one. But then when I like the following year when I let's see. Yeah, 2017. That was when I was like big into it, big into NA. But I had like a ton of hopes for the 2019 Team Liquid roster. That didn't make it out of groups 3-3. That was so tragic.
Okay.
But anyways, yep.
Well, let's get into the topic. So one, I just want to be clear here. If Bjergsen leaves TSM and plays for another team, he will not own any of TSM. So I guess, you know, I know people get kind of confused about this stuff or whatever, and they're like, oh, that would be awkward or whatever. The rules will not permit him to both be an owner in TSM and play for TSM. He would have to remove his shares, and I guess they'd get bought back by a team, or maybe he would, or by TSM, or maybe he would forfeit his shares, which would mean that his signing bonus with whatever team, you know, the representation would probably say like, well, you need to give him at least $1 million signing bonus to give up these TSM shares or something. So there's no world in which even if he's playing for an LEC team or whatever, he's not going to have stock.
But the take is that he doesn't give a damn about that anymore. He's got the millions.
But he doesn't.
He can live the rest of his life as a hermit. Okay?
Why do people think that
He's already
TSM was
got the
paying
bag.
him a ton of money during this time? Like up until this is the first year, I think, where TSM is like in the upper echelon of stuff. Because they were so successful so long, they were able to pay not top dollar for talent, and Bjergsen was part of it. He never entered the open market. He never had the ability to like play teams against each other. So it's not like he went around and collected millions. I'm sure his bank account is comfortable, but I don't think he has "fuck you, I can retire and do whatever I want" money.
You know what he can do? He can go over there and get that European American money. That's right. Go over to Ben Spoon's honk Misfits as they give him that American European money to play in the LEC.
Yes. Yes. That's a good point. Or Jack just acquires more G2 players, gives him a ton of money, and then he gets that American European money because G2, you know, picks up Bjergsen, and I don't know.
All I know is in this theoretical world where he just wants success, the take on would he go to Europe or stay in North America? I mean, the best answer, of course, is Europe. But I do think the tides are changing in North America to give you hope once again. All right. While right now, I would say in Europe, there are, I would say 5 teams that I feel like are really strong competitors. Like there's Rogue, Misfits, Fnatic, G2, Mad Lions, like all those teams I think make the region competitive. You could even say Vitality because like on a good day, they look fucking incredible. And then there's other games where they just blow away the first 10 minutes of the game. That shit happens, right? Well, in North America, in Spring Split, I was a little depressed because it felt like it was a 3-team league. But now you have Evil Geniuses that look competitive, 100 Thieves that were in Spring Split not competitive, now look fucking fantastic. I think we have now 4 teams.
Okay, but they're competitive in North America.
Only getting stronger.
They're competitive in North America. There's no evidence yet. You know, hopefully there will be in a couple of weeks, but there's no evidence yet to suggest that we have internationally competitive teams yet, Raz.
Of course. I'm just talking about from the eye test perspective. Of course, the answer, if I'm trying to give you a boring ass answer, I'm going to agree with the caller and say yes, like go to Europe if you want a better chance of getting out of groups. But I'm saying the door is open for 2022.
Raz, let me turn this around, actually. If you are an LEC team, a top LEC team, do they want Bjergsen? Is that what you're going to say, Mark?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. I was like, okay, Niski, Caps, Humanoid, Vethio, and Self-Made are your top 5 there that you're talking about. And Larson, excuse me, sorry. You know, potentially. Like, who's he taking? You know, like, I was just listing the top teams, guys. I wasn't saying
yeah,
the ones
true.
that he listed the top 6. So I'm saying, like, of all those teams, like, and are those legitimately better teams than the best North American team that you're going to find, like a C9 or 100 Thieves or Team Liquid or whatever, or a TSM even? Like, how big of a drop is those North American teams compared to those European ones if you're not able to get on the top 2 or 3 European teams?
I think he would make it. I think, like, look, I'm going to put this out there. I've been a big defender of Larson from European fans that have been raining shit on him, saying that he doesn't clutch up in big moments, because I think he's great. But then if you're throwing Bjergsen on the table, then yeah, I'm going to say Rogue, right? I honestly believe that, like, that would make him a competitive team. They're already, like, they already should be, quote unquote, like the top team in the league with how talented they are throughout, like, consistently throughout the split. But they're for sure a top 2 team. So I think they would.
Can you imagine Bjergsen with a jungler like Inspired? Oh my goodness.
And I will say this. People said this about Niski, about, like, oh, you know, would they want to take Niski, et cetera, et cetera. And then, like, he keeps shutting people up. So 100%, you know.
Yeah, Niski's
person
underrated.
Person who performs well in North America can perform well in Europe. So,
I mean, I think what will be very interesting is what Worlds does. Because if a bunch of these Western teams pop off, I feel like it's going to limit some of his opportunities. Whereas, like, if some of these teams dramatically fail, and their GMs or whoever are sitting around being like, "Well, fuck," I think that might open up more opportunities for him on some of these teams, right? Like, let's say, I love Jensen, but let's say he goes to Worlds and just has a terrible performance, and people go, how's Jensen's international performance been recently? Not too stellar or something like that. Like, maybe there's a world where suddenly TL's like, okay, well, this didn't work. We're not going to make changes in, the support role, and I don't know, maybe they're happy with tactical or something. There's so many interesting, like, that's what is kind of fun about this, and I'm happy that this kind of allowed us to wet our whistle before the off season, really gets going, during
never say that
just
again,
after
Travis.
Worlds. But it's going to be so fun to see how this unfolds, because I do think Worlds will potentially have the ability to play an impact on this, depending on how unsatisfied teams are with their rosters afterwards, right?
True.
I feel like it would be the most Steve thing ever to, like, not get out of groups this year, get rid of Jensen, and bring in Bjergsen if that was, like, a move he could make.
It feels that way, right?
That's a big Steve move right there.
Or let's say they go to Worlds and Jensen's like, wow, we sucked. I fucking hate playing with these guys, or something like that, right? And he wants to leave. Like, I'm trying to expand people's minds. I'm trying to open them up to new realities, because I think people need to think about, again, maybe the boring thing will happen and he'll just sign with TSM and PoE will be like, this sucks, and end up on, like, FlyQuest or something. But I think there's a decent chance that some wild shit goes down. So people should be thinking. And LEC is pretty part of it, but I think a lot of NA fans are like, oh man, there's a great chance he goes to LEC, and then I think a lot of LEC people are like, well, we might be kind of good on mid laners for a bit. So we'll see. OGKush, thank you for taking the other caller's call. it's great that you stole this. Anything you want to shout out before we take a quick break?
Yeah, so shout out to Raz's Toronto Raptors jersey. That is a clean jersey. Definitely one of the good ones. And shout out to Dorado Gaming Esports, the amateur esports organization that I'm a part of, and that's it.
Very good.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for the call, OGKush, and we appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Yep. All right,
Travis, you have some very smart callers. I'm just saying.
You wouldn't
Do you
know it
think-
looking at the YouTube comments. They are. This show is mostly becoming a parody at this point with these takes. They go and read the half a sentence timestamp thing, and then they go onto Reddit or YouTube and they complain about the take that they didn't listen to.
There we
Or
go.
the
I just want a
conversations
caller to
come from.
come and say, Raz, you're a shithead. Boom.
Well,
Doo-doo.
You
Sure
know
you'll
what?
get
We
that.
don't get many trolls anymore. I kind of miss the trolls.
do you? We only ever got one.
We got one like hardcore troll, but we had people who used to like have more like, man, Travis, you said this last year. You fucking suck. I'd always pull those.
I
There you go.
am sure. I noticed that there was a distinct lack of Mark. You said this last year. You fucking suck. I noticed that those calls never get pulled. All right.
I just never say anything wrong. Are you doing an ad read now, or am I pulling someone?
Alienware.com/Travis. Thank you so much to Alienware for sponsoring the show. We really love Alienware. Got some new cool stuff coming from them soon. Mark is roaming right now. I don't know what he's doing.
Wait, I was gonna go get the glass of water. Should I
Oh,
get the
no,
caller
you're good.
first?
You're good. I just
Okay.
thought you were about to show something. All right.
No.
Guys, you have to go over, guys and gals, and thems and theys. You have to go over to alienware.com/Travis and click the banner at the top to join the Alienware games. Okay, this is a really cool thing that they are doing, where you can compete in all sorts of different prizes. It's weekly, so you can go check it out. And you don't have to, it's open to everybody. All right, you don't need to be crazy. They've got online. It's a national online tournament across 4 of the most popular games in the world: League of Legends, Fortnite, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege. You complete challenges in what?
Never mind. Go on.
You complete challenges in any or all of the games to score points and climb the weekly leaderboards. Earn weekly prizes along the way and secure your spot in the finals, where you can compete for grand prizing. All right, there's all sorts of cool stuff that you can get. Alienware gaming rigs are available. Alienware X15s. Go alienware.com/Travis. Just do me a favor. Just click the banner up at the top and take a look at this. Whatever you're doing, if you're driving somewhere, pull over safely on the side of the street. Well, not wherever it's safe to park, and pull open this on your phone, alienware.com/Travis, and click the banner up at the top to take a look at this, because it's a really cool thing that they're doing, open to all sorts of people. Just sign up, have a good time, see what it's about, and win some stuff. It's just neat that they're doing this. I think it's fantastic they're doing it. The League of Legends, by the way, for the finale, it's a 1v1 bracket with random seeding. So it's a Howling Abyss 1v1 situation. You don't need a bunch of people to play with you. Just go do this. You might do quite well. The finalist prizing, you can get an Alienware X15 gaming laptop and up to $15,000 in cash. All right? There's a lot of stuff here. You don't know how you're going to do. Maybe only Hotline League callers are hearing about this, and you just have to face off against... Who knows? All right? Just sign up. Check it out. Thank you so much to Alienware for sponsoring the show. Really cool that they're doing this. And by the way, yeah, I did see some folks using the codes. Hobo in the chat says, no cap, I bought an Alienware PC and Travis code got me $60 off. Yeah, make sure you check out the code in the link in the description of this YouTube video if you guys want. I'm going to put the link, by the way, alienware.com/Travis in the chat right now. If you're watching live, do me a favor, click that link and then click over to the banner up at the top, because even just checking out the page is very helpful. I do appreciate it.
I felt a dopamine rush, Travis, as I clicked that link. I felt better, personally.
Hobo is correcting. He says $260 off, not says $60 off. Yeah. Thank
That
you.
is quite the correction.
Yeah, he typoed the 2. So not just $60 off, $260 off. You can save some good money with that code. I've seen some people message me with some buco savings. Sometimes it stacks with some stuff that they going on
I
too.
save $50. I mean 500,000.
Anyway, Mark, you want to grab our next caller? Oh, off he goes. Thank you to B-Crow Twitch, Ari Waddle, for 38 months. Hannon, ProStar, low budget LCS rated us, thank you. Epi for 2 years. Riot Wafflefoot for 25 months, missed his 2 year, I'm sorry. Frostfire ADC, and the OGKush subbing after coming on the show. We love it. Nicole is here. Nicole, where are you calling from?
I'm in Calgary right now.
Calgary. I believe that's in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah.
Calgary peeps out here.
Woo!
Are you from Calgary, Raz?
Yes, hell yes. Got
Really?
them 100%.
Yo, let's
Nice.
go.
All right. Well, what do you want to talk about on the show, Nicole?
Well, people are going to hate me. So I said that NA fans shouldn't be excited if Rekkles ends up in NA. He's the kind of import that probably would be worse for the league. Like, he'd do more bad than good if he were to join.
Okay. Why?
Well, the biggest thing is that I feel like a lot of imports already get a lot of criticism for not really trying to, become part of the community. And Rekkles being such kind of a quiet and reserved person, I don't see his personality really getting out there in the same way that somebody like Perks would, right? Other than that, he's already established most of his career in EU. So him coming over, there isn't really a storyline of oh, Rekkles is developing, he's this new player, he's this player that hasn't really had a chance to establish his career, right? I feel like he'd come over, viewership would peak for a bit, and then he'd retire in a few years. And I know that people are probably going to bring up the argument of oh, we'd want to bring over Rekkles for international success. But after hearing that for 4 years and it not really happening with anyone that people use that argument for, I really don't buy it. So,
what if Cloud9 goes and kicks ass at Worlds? Do you buy it then?
Hey, maybe.
Perk stomps on Showmaker and
Core JJ lived
Ew.
up to the hype. Core JJ came back and got us to MSI finals.
I don't know. I feel like Perks and Rekkles are just very different players, though, as well.
I love this
right?
take. It's
I-
hot. It's a
I like
hot
this take too. Go ahead and Raz. What do you like about it?
It is a hot take because it's one of those difficult ones to talk about because in general, I'm a big person of I think imports get attacked a lot in the community. A lot of the times their intent, what are they trying to accomplish, all these types of things. Those are the type of conversations that I'm already pretty sensitive to because I think the community is a lot of the times pretty unfair to imports to start. But in this case, I do think that in this case, I will say this one thing about just the caveat about Rekkles. But when he went to Worlds last time on Fnatic, and even though they didn't go too far, I felt like it was mostly because of mid jungle issues and just team-based issues. I thought Rekkles played pretty damn well at that Worlds. This split was definitely difficult for a lot of reasons. But to the point about bringing in an import with a big name, unsure about the development and how long they would be within this scene, instead of what everybody in the scene wants, which is kind of pushing young talent that is good that we see in what's it called, proving grounds that are performing. So I do like that. I think it's really tough. I would err on the side of it depends on the teams, but most of the time I will look towards players like Prismal and say, hey, give him a chance on the lower tier teams, or give Danny a big chance to stay on that one. I would look at the 80 carry list right now and say that for the teams that Rekkles is likely going to aim for, I find it tough for him to kind of find that place where I would be happy with it. I think it would hit the whole retirement home thing, where I do think that if most of the, if not all of the imports that I've seen come in North America, I've liked, and I think it improved the scene. That one I'm a little iffy on.
Raz and Mark, let me ask you guys. If you were a GM of a team and you had the option of picking up for your first player Rekkles or FBI, which one would you sign?
I mean, that's FBI.
Oh, Mark, you were kind of cut out. What? Oh, you see.
He's still muted.
Now I'm muted. Fuck me. I said FBI as well.
Oh, there we go.
mean-
I thought the suspense was the. All right.
No, it wasn't. That was the worst part. I'm just agreeing because I mean the thing about FBI is not even an import. So like it's just like you could. I mean we haven't seen them go toe to toe. FBI looks world class. Like I think FBI is incredible. Using my own like eye test, I think like he has a legitimate case. He's younger. You know, like there's more rooms to develop. You could argue like he has the NA storyline. If you're a GM and you're talking, you know, about some of that. Like obviously Reckless's brand value is unparalleled, basically. But you know, for endemic fans, you can maybe say at least like FBI's been around a little bit longer. But then the fact that he doesn't even take up an import slot makes it not even close. Like if you're two close 80 carries and one allows you to grab double import solo laners, like I am taking the non-import 80 carry every single time.
Just looking at the top teams right now, like I wouldn't want to move tactical. Sven, I mean, that one's an interesting one, obviously, because he's an import that I really like enjoyed. I think he's just like a top 80 carry in the region. That's like not even that's the coldest take of all time. So I wouldn't move him. Evil Geniuses. I know Danny's like early laning phase has been that's his first fucking year. So or split, I mean. So like he'll easily improve on that one. So like I would hate it if Danny was replaced. Same thing you already talked about FBI. The only one would probably be like Lost would be what people would talk about. But I mean TSM I feel like a lot of the times would be like they would be making big changes every time. So
yeah, I mean I could see him showing up on TSM especially because in the past he said he's interested in it. But I do wonder if there's a Bjergsen Rekkles situation that's an option. Mark?
I feel like that would be very enticing. I mean, I understand Nicole's points, and I somewhat agree with them about the whole, like, this player is going to come and elevate the region. Like, that just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. You know, I think you can say that, you know, to Raz's point, that, like, I enjoy their presence in the scene, and, like, it's just another good player. But it's not, as we've seen, like, you just bring one player over and suddenly the scene problems go away. It would just be like, hey, Rekkles has a really strong brand and personality. Fans like him. It would help engagement. You know, he is a little bit better than some of like the ones that the Western-speaking fans don't have any real connection to, and they just kind of come over. You have to kind of build it from the ground up. At least he is bringing something like that, but it is taking up a spot. You know, for TSM, you know, like Lost got a crack this time around. You can debate whether or not it ended up working out, but you only can find those new generations of players if you give them an attempt. FBI is someone who got a chance and ran with it, and it wasn't like it was immediate. Like he had to improve over time. So I do kind of get both sides of the argument, and I feel like Rekkles is just a bit of a special case that I'd be a little bit more willing to, especially for a top team, be like, yeah, fuck yeah, go get him.
By the way, mentioning this Sven thing, I don't think that this is likely, but I think there's a chance he becomes a resident next year because he's been here for 4 years.
Yeah.
And the rumors over the past couple of months have been like, Riot is probably not going to lift the import rule, but there might be a world where they go back to the old system where you could become a resident after X number of years. And I think it used to be 4. So if they decided to make it 4 again, I think there's a good chance he could become a resident, which would be interesting for him. I think on the Rekkles stuff, by the way, that last bit was speculation. Please no Reddit threads. On the Rekkles stuff, I in the past, especially for top LEC talent or very popular LEC talent, EU, LCS, etc., there's sort of been not a discussion about whether or not it should even be a question about whether or not it'd be great to have them join the LCS. I am now really hoping that there starts to become discussions around, is this player compatible, right? And that's kind of how I feel about Rekkles is I think Rekkles would not want to join a bottom tier team.
Yep.
And I don't think that it would necessarily. I think maybe for a bottom tier team, it would make sense for them to sign him, especially if you're trying to like build an interesting roster and you're like, he's your veteran guy. But like, I cannot imagine Rekkles being like, yes, I want to join, FlyQuest or Golden Guardians or something like that. I don't think that they should pay the money that it would take for him to come in and do that, because I think if he does choose for the money at that point in time, then you're not getting Rekkles, you're getting somebody else who's showing up for the paycheck. And so that's sort of where I'm at. I'm like, I just don't think Rekkles is compatible with the LCS right now. I don't think it makes sense to replace any of our bot laners. Maybe on TSM, maybe, but for the most part, no. And I don't think he's gonna be great on a bottom team. So,
and I'm interested in hearing what Nicole's take is, but like my immediate thing, because I kind of distilled it now with my jumbled thoughts to like something very distinct and clear, which is like, it goes back to, if you want just an incredible, like a strong bot lane for the next year, right? Sure, yeah, I can understand the TSM with Rekkles would do that, or I can understand an Evil Geniuses with Rekkles would do that compared to Danny. But like, that's not what we want right now. I think for too long we kind of had situations in the LCS where we make a move for what is strong for the team right now in comparison to what is strong for the team, not even just for the league for the next few years, but for the team for the next few years, right? Because as Mark said, like, there's not continued investment in a player most of the time for the top teams. And so I think that it's best for teams right now, if they see a talent that works for them that isn't there just yet, to stick with them. It would piss me off to see them go with a Rekkles or something. I'm using his name because it's like literally just the topic, and the next season it's a new team. Like, then what was the point? What did we gain? What did that team gain if you don't hit your semifinals or something for Worlds? That's all I pretty much am seeing. I do think the talent, literally, that's on the teams exist. So,
I had a really great point, and I cannot remember it. Nicole, fill for us. What do you think of the discussion we just had?
Yeah, I think Rekkles, like, as a player, fits like this really weird niche that's also, can be filled by newer players, right? Because he's not necessarily the guy like a Core JJ or a Perks who you're going to get to be, the best player on your team and also like a team leader, right? Like, Rekkles doesn't strike me as that guy who's going to really rally up the team, and like bring things together. He feels like a person you would get if you're, like Raz mentioned, you just need a strong bot lane, put Rekkles there, he'll do his job, he'll do it exceptionally well, right? But then I feel like you also need those spots in the team kind of reserved for newer players, so you can bring them in and not expect them to fill that huge leadership position or have a huge personality right out the gate when they can't really do that without proving themselves, right? We saw Fudge try to do that this year coming into the season and get shit on by the entire community before he could prove that. So I think it's unfair to expect like a rookie to come out with a big personality as well, right? You kind of need them in that role where it's like, okay, you're safe here to just do your thing and learn. And Rekkles is also the player that you would put in that position where it's like, do your thing, we know you're exceptional, right? And I see that like a lot if you see Lost replaced on TSM, right? Like, obviously for the next 2 to 3 years, yeah, Rekkles is going to be the better player. He is going to potentially probably be like, the best ADC in the league, right? But that's taking away from a newer player's opportunity to learn and be on a team surrounded by people who are going to support him, right? And just, I hate, bringing up that, for the future of the league and the development of the league. But I think that it is a big issue, right? Because when Bjergsen retires again, and Rekkles is gone, you're not really left with anyone, So that's how I think of it.
It's a very good point. I think what I was going to say, and I remember now, is because Raz was talking about TSM. Raz, I know it's a little off topic, but why I think there's a good chance that Rekkles could end up on TSM, even if I don't think it's a great idea, is because I do think TSM is probably not going to be looking really long term starting next year.
Yeah, they never do. Yeah.
Well, I don't, especially now. Like the FTX stuff, they didn't make it to Worlds this year. I don't know. I in the past, if you told me before the FTX stuff that this happens, I'd be like, okay, TSM has got to scale back on their spending now, right? Like the Sword Art stuff is crazy. They've got to have like sort of learned their lesson. They're going to go be a little bit more calm. But if now that they have the FTX stuff, so they got a lot of money and I assume a lot of pressure to perform, even if it doesn't officially sponsor the league team, it's everybody knows. and if they end up losing Bjerg, their biggest asset, they're gonna be like, fuck, we need something big, right? And I think Rekkles could be that, a Sword Art Rekkles bot lane. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening, but I think what will be really interesting is what they do around it. For me, I just think Rekkles should go to LPL. I think he's wanted to do that in the past. He's made noises about it. I think there's a ton of LPL teams that would spend a ton of money on him. I think it would be very exciting and interesting to everybody. I don't think it would necessarily be very successful, but I think it would be very exciting, and everybody would really like it, including him. And blah. Raz, you had a big reaction.
Yeah, I mean, because I literally forgot it, and it's true. And also, Lemon42 suspiciously made this message, as you said, this Travis, this take. All right, so
Lemonade 42 put that after I said the take, and I had the take from before. I've interviewed him about how he's considered joining LPL
I'm
teams.
just messing with you.
You just feel bad because I thought of an LPL thing before you did, Mr.
Yeah,
LPL
maybe.
expert.
It's perhaps. Okay,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Try to cover it here, pass it off on somebody
Play
else.
Valorant.
God
Thanks,
damn
Mark.
it.
Okay, so Nicole, thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out?
Amazing.
I saw Captain Flowers in the chat. I don't know if he's still there, but shout out to Captain Flowers. Love his casting so much. One of the big reasons I still watch LCS. So yeah, shout out to him.
He just shows up to get everybody in the chat to go, oh my gosh, it's Captain Flowers, and then he pieces the fuck out. So I'm sorry, Nicole, but he's not here.
That's okay.
Thank you so much for the call.
Chat.
What's that?
I still see his name in the chat.
You
and I'm
still
gonna
see
say
his
one-
name, but he's
Travis,
not
do you wanna-
typing right now, right?
And he's got this shit muted. He's got
Yeah,
us
yeah.
muted for sure.
Travis,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you want to?
Captain Flowers, if you are here, say something in the chat. Oh,
Chat.
I'm not
Travis?
seeing it.
Travis, I have a question for you before
Yeah.
we go to the next caller.
Yes.
Are you willing to give a certain thing to this
You,
caller?
okay, here's the thing. I'll give an asterisk on this because Canada is a difficult shipping situation, but
Discrimination.
no, it's just about the product availability in certain regions of the world, Raz. But Nicole, you have received the Game Fuel Victory Caller of the Night. I will message you to figure out or to tell you where to contact, who to contact, etc., etc. Let me make sure this goes through. Okay, cool, it is. And we will figure out what the follow up is. But if we can't get you something, I will just get you RP or something like that. So thank you so much. for the call.
Yo, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That's
Actually
their
reminded
call.
me to check up on CBC to see what's happening because there's currently an election happening in Canada. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've heard about that, yeah. Shampoo, thank you for the 27 months. Pamoya gifted 5 subs during that call, which is very nice of them. Dama, thank you for the 3 months. And Nodak gifted a sub to Captain Flowers, who has still not said anything in the chat. So I think Mark and I are looking about right on this one. Looking about right. Okay. Where are we in the chat? How's everybody doing? Oh, Mark is here, but he just dropped off the caller and then left, so that's why I was confused.
What?
Fez, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. What do you want to
There
talk
we
about on
go.
the show?
I want to talk about how I feel like the blatant disrespect towards the LCS is laughable. And I understand NA fans, we get disappointed time and time again, but like, I've been watching this whole weekend catching up because I've been working on the oil rig. All these videos from all these LEC guys like Kadrill and all this, where these tier lists are just awful. And it just overhypes like the copium bottle on these LEC fans with how he's just beefing up these LEC teams when I just think they're riding the reputation of G2 to Worlds.
But it sounds like you're more pummeling the LEC teams than you are promoting the LCS side.
Well, no, I think the LCS teams will do better this year. Now, how much better? Yeah, it's laughable to most people. They'll meme about it because people are just shit like that. But the LEC really isn't that much better win rate wise in groups, and they only got G2 and what was it? G2 and Fnatic out, and Fnatic looks like they barely limped into the finals in the LEC, where pretty much, Mad Lions just assembled them. Rogue are known choke artists against anybody, that's decent. So, and like I said, our teams went with a 50% win rate, except for TSM, who shit the money bag last year. But I just really am so tired of just seeing all this shit that the LCS gets. Because it really isn't that bad. It should be better, but it really isn't that bad. And then, like I said, it's just ridiculous.
Well, Fez, I think it's opportune timing right before Worlds that seemingly, and this is my theory, that on the oil rig you struck some copium down there, because that's, I think, what you're spewing out into the call. No, I'm kidding, but I wanted to make that joke, and so that's why I did that.
Excellent.
Okay. Is the LEC overrated and is the LCS underrated? I am going to conveniently throw this one over to Mark first, and avoid.
I was working on trying to find.
K-Drill stuff. Okay, well I'll let Raz take it then.
I linked you K-Drills. I linked you Doms and Doublelift. I don't think got a video or didn't get any comments on it. I'm trying to find where they have it. I guess I can take a screenshot of it.
It was a YouTube video for sure. Oh, this one's also.
Yeah, it was a YouTube video, but
look, all I'm gonna say. You want me to hit it first, or you want to go for it?
You go. I'm finishing this so Travis can put these on screen.
All right, perfect. So, just to hit on the historical aspect that you mentioned, if we're just talking about win rate in groups, guys, North America just hasn't been leaving groups, all right? It's in 2018, it was Fnatic that got out in first place instead of second. Invictus Gaming got that one. Sure, Invictus Gaming ended up winning Worlds, but Fnatic was a competitive team, et cetera, G2 as well. You also mentioned it was only G2 and Fnatic, but also Splice went out. I'm pretty sure in 2019 Worlds they got out of groups, and they took a game off FPX, even though that was pretty much a Teletubby group. It was a much stronger at the time. It felt like it was kind of weak, the weakest groups. But J Team came out, showed they were much stronger. Fun Plus had a pretty rough groups, and Splice showed up. So in general, I'm expecting as a fan, as an analyst, for European teams to make it out of groups. They have a strong region consistently. G2 literally made it to finals, and I know you mentioned, right in the coattails of G2, but whenever we're talking about domestically watching European League of Legends, these teams are competitive. I'm talking about when G2 are at their greatest. We're competitive with G2. And an incredibly strong team boosts your region because teams are trying to take you down. When G2 is pretty fucking strong, Mad Lions literally took them down, I'm pretty sure on the road to the finals. So overall, I'm pretty boring because I chose personally not to make a tier list because it would be over. God, I forgot the word. There would just be a lot of the same fucking tier lists out there because I agreed with K-Drills and Doublelift at the time. The only thing I didn't agree with was Cloud9 over 100 Thieves because that one is a little bit of copium of, Cloud9 can do better at Worlds because they have clutch players. But we saw them at MSI, we saw them during the split. It's a pretty consistent level with them where I'm a lot more hopeful of Team Liquid and 100 Thieves. It's not so that's not to your point, but my point was just disagreeing.
So on that, I feel bad that you took all Raz's screen real estate away. I guess you have more to give, huh?
You took away my screen?
I mean, I'm not even on the screen. I just mark, I needed a square, and there's, if I cover, I can't put the section up on Mark's screen without, yeah.
Can't you crop that picture to give Raz a little bit of wiggle room on the left back?
I listen. While we're doing this impromptu, let me call the control room, Mark, and let's get some stuff going on really quickly. This is what you get.
Yes,
all right?
I would just hold alt and drag the corner in.
We don't have a multi-million-dollar esports and gaming content thing that's going bankrupt to help us with this. All right.
So I mean, I kind of agree with Raz about a lot of these end up looking pretty similar. How many of these look that different? Almost none of them. It's just
To
about how
explain
many-
who the bottom left is, Mark, because people are asking.
The bottom left one's Doublelift, and I think he was on a call with Spica and Core JJ, if I read the title
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So, you know, a little bit of stuff thrown in there. Like, obviously, they're memeing putting fucking Cloud9 in F tier.
Are there? Yeah. Should we? Sorry, we've got audio listeners, a decent amount of them. So I don't know if you want to do like a quick rundown of.
So
these.
very quickly, we to the caller's point, he's talking about all the people, all the ones. I sent Travis some links, so he pulled up K-Drill, Doms, and Doublelift's lists, and they're all relatively the same with like minor variations. Like some teams didn't include the play-in teams that they think are going to get through. Like you know, K-Drills was just the major region teams. It's kind of the same with Dom. You know, ones that I haven't watched yet.
All three have FPX, Dam1, and EDG in S tier, and Dom adds RNG to that, for instance.
Right, like that's a change. For Doublelift, he doesn't have Mad Lions in the one just under the top tier, whereas
oh yeah, that's the
K-Drill and Dom do. You know, so like there's like a little bit of wiggle room with all of these, but they're pretty similar. So
The only change on that one, I would definitely put Mad Lions ahead of T1. But yeah, like outside of that, I think Mad Lions are the hope of the West in going as far as possible. I think Rogue is great too, but that kind of goes back to the caller's point. In general, I just think that the European teams are stronger. North American teams, this is probably the best look that I've had with the North American teams. Like, I'm looking at all three representatives and saying that there is a good shot that they have in groups where in general, well, a good shot in the sense that they look good. They look good in comparison to the last few teams that we've sent in the past. So that's what I'm willing to say.
the thing I'll throw in here.
Doublelift's crew really put C9 in F tier.
No, that was definitely a meme. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
watched the whole video, but I think that's Core JJ just shit talking them
Okay.
for fun.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is like, it feels like a really safe way to do it, because if you just stack rank by region with then stack ranking each team within the region, you basically get something like this. But I think I'd have to double check this to make sure I'm not crazy. But I feel like it's pretty rare that the best North American team is equal or worse than the worst European team. I actually don't think that's often the case.
Our first seeds usually fail dramatically. Or are you just saying like the best
No,
when
I mean,
we
like,
get to
in terms
Worlds?
of like in hindsight, looking back at the tournament,
okay. Yeah.
like we will have a team that goes 3-3, and Europe will have a team that goes like 1-5 or something,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And you know, like that would be our best performing team. They'll have teams getting out of groups, so obviously their teams that show up for the tournament actually do really well. But the reality that, like, looking at K-Drill's list, C9, 100 Thieves, and TL are actually the three worst teams from the major regions going is pretty unlikely, actually. Like, that's one of those parlay bets where one of those teams is going to hit, probably, and one of the teams above them is going to whiff. And, you know, we've seen this time and time again at Worlds, where Gen G actually isn't that good, and, like, RNG chokes in 2018, or, you know, Team Liquid going 3-3, but Rogue going 1-5 in their group. You know, like Rogue looked pretty bad. Team Liquid actually looked okay. You know, Mad Lions didn't even make it out of their like. You know, they looked pretty terrible in play-ins, and I bet everyone would have ranked them moderately high heading into that tournament. You know, so I feel like a lot of the times people do over default to regional bias. If you ask me to make my own list, though, it wouldn't turn out looking that different because I'm a fucking coward too.
There it is.
But, you know,
Dang.
like the reality that every single one of these teams outperforms every single North American team is just not going to happen. And not because I'm smart or anything, but just like statistically, that's not what ever happens. Like, usually.
I mean, the thing that I like about this, so this is why, so back to your point, Fez. Fez, I understand why it's frustrating looking at these tier lists and feeling this way, but I'm kind of like, I don't really care, because the great thing is that if we do, there are no expectations for us based off of this, right? Like, I don't know, I guess there's a world where like we, you know, don't make it out of play-ins or something like that, but I like the if we do anything moderately interesting, it will be very exciting. And so I'm not offended, because I'm like, cool, like whenever an NA team like crushes an LEC team randomly and unexpectedly and maybe like denies them getting out of groups or something, it will feel good because people think that there's just that our teams completely suck, and I do think that they are better than folks think, even if I don't have like the highest expectations.
And so, to one of the things the callers, someone in chat said that I think is worth calling out is like looking at the list without the huge context put into them is and like, yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm sure they had good reasoning for why you think Rogue has higher potential than Team Liquid or something. You know, like I don't want to discredit like any one of these things. I just mean, as a fan, what happens in the tournament will not reflect these lists. They never do. And that was my only point, which is like there's going to be like, you know, last year FlyQuest went 3-3. Rogue went 1-5. Rogue's group, you could argue, was a little harder, whatever. You know, you can start getting into that kind of stuff. But like, you know,
group stages in particular are always really wonky, especially the first week.
The groups aren't always fair. Yeah, teams have different metas.
Yeah.
Best of ones are whack as shit. You know, like things are gonna happen. You're gonna have times that you're gonna be able to ride the hopium. You know, someone's gonna start popping off. You go, oh, maybe we'll get out of this group if the right things happen. You know, like, I don't think you need to look at these tier lists, which I think are a lot of fun, and use those as like your actual perspective heading into the event, especially when we don't even know what the groups are. You know, I feel like the conversations that these kinds of content creators will have once they actually see the groups are going to be much more accurate to what the tournament will look like.
Yeah, I'm happy that people have tier lists if they want to have them or whatever.
I think they're fun as fuck.
But I feel like they're kind of a weird way of approaching worlds. Like the pick'ems and stuff like that are far more, in my opinion, relevant. You know,
I think it's just a way to put out some content until you know groups and stuff.
Right. I'm working on bringing my webcam back, everybody.
As he's coming back.
Well, I just think it's so weird. I just think it's so weird how, you know, like, especially I've heard some of the Korean content creators like LS and talk about Hanwha Life and saying, you know, it's the Chovy show, and if Def doesn't perform, Chovy's in Elo hell and all this, you know, crap. And it just, I think that the NA teams this year, what I saw in playoff is they showed a lot of adaptability. Every team in playoffs, like 100 Thieves basically got knocked down by TLs. You know, we're gonna just smash you through top lane, and they basically challenged them in the finals in that aspect. And then, you know, TSM they failed to adapt, which is how they would have probably performed at Worlds, and they got knocked out even as the first seed. So I think the teams that we're sending, they show a lot of promise. And I know it's easy for people just to say they're gonna fail because NA always fails, but especially like the LEC, I have a lot of respect for them, but I think G2 was really awful this year. I think them losing perks, they lost a big part of their identity.
Well, they're not at Worlds, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right. But I think G2 was the one. I know, but I think G2 is the one that carried the torch for the reason that leveled them up. I think several LEC players have said that, and I think the LEC teams this year are just trying to fill that void, and I don't think it's as good as people are trying to make it out to be.
I mean, I think you have a fair point in one sense, and I want to be careful about this, but I think LEC will perform well at Worlds this year. I'm not saying stupendous, but I think they will perform well. However, Mad Lions didn't like crush it at MSI, and so there's not too much direct evidence that they're sending killer teams to Worlds right now. I think Mad Lions, obviously, you know, all the analysts in the world are saying great things about Mad Lions, so I don't want to diminish that. I'm just, but I agree with you that it's not a situation where it's like, we're sending G2 again, and they are killing it, you know, and they've done so much cool stuff. You know, in 2020, it was a lot easier to like point to G2's run to finals in 2019 and feel a lot really confident about that team, whereas like there's not the exact same thing, I think.
So I mean, like, I don't know if the content creators are talking about G2 or Mad Lions like their G2. I just don't even think that's happening. I feel like this is getting conflated a little bit. Like, European teams have historically done better than North American teams, and not just in the last 3 years with the rise of the G2 dominance, and including Fnatic's finals run, but like H2K, Misfits. A number of these teams have gone to Worlds and looked good
Splice
They-
as well, yeah.
Splice, like they've had teams that have outperformed North American counterparts that are not just the flagship team, and I think that's the other part of it. Yeah, it's like there's a lot more to it than just like, man, G2 was dope. Like I think there is a lot more beyond that.
But weren't those teams surprises mostly in those years?
I don't think
No.
Fnatic was in the year that they popped off.
Not
No, and
Fnatic
also
necessarily, but H2K and Splice, especially Splice. I feel like Splice was a surprise.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Mostly because like when Splice got that group, yeah, sure they were lucky, but also like they literally performed. They took a game off of Fun Plus, and they would have been able to get out of groups if they were consistent about that. I just think in general, the LEC teams perform at a higher level. Like just watching their games, that's always been the case. Even when 100 Thieves were in the finals, like, and you heard from Freeze, who was just on the show, I'm pretty sure last 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, which one was?
Yeah, it was right after finals. So.
Yeah, a lot of it came off of them just like memeing the fact that like they're saying, "Hey, do the Mad Lions," like a strat, because they would literally just be watching LEC. Like LEC, Mad Lions was like the comp sets they were performing in mid game. So like for me, when I watch LEC games, like the top 3-5 teams, I'm learning quite a lot. Like warding positions, like how they set up the map, and so like they're still just a ton better right now than North America as a whole. Like just deep, like the region is itself deep. That being said, this is a message towards the LEC fans. I think a lot of people are just throwing shit at Rogue. I think Rogue are more hilariously enough a consistent team. In the regular season, they've been consistent. I know when it comes to playoff time, they didn't look good, but like I actually do believe that Rogue will perform much better than people expect. I have faith in them. Like they have like literally the best jungler, Western jungler in Inspired. Like that's for sure. Adwamna is like a fucking shield in the top lane. I can go on about the team, but I do think that they will, and they have an incredible bot lane. So I can just go on and on and on about Rogue. I really want to see what group Fnatic gets put in, because we have a lot of teams that just have really fucking strong top laners. LNG's Ale is a good example. Shahu from RNG. I'm only listing like Chinese teams on that one. So like I really want to see what style teams go into Fnatic, but I do think Rogue is a consistent squad. Rogue is gonna go 0-6. I swear, some people in the chat's just trying to kill me. It's just I don't want to hear it.
Fez
won't even load into their games.
Fez, thank you so much for the call. I don't know if this has made you feel better.
It has. I like talking it out, and I'm sorry if it went a little bit long.
No. We needed to fill some time tonight because I think we went deeper on some of the calls than we normally do, which I thought was good. So, Fez, anything? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I said I just feel like this may be the year where we get one team that does okay, which is good enough for me.
I'll take it. Thanks so much for the call.
The year we get one team to do okay. NA hype.
Hashtag get out of groups. Let's do it, boys.
Yeah. What? Anything you want to shout out, Fez?
I want to shout out Raz because he is a fucking awesome dude. Even though he makes dumb takes every now and then, he's still an awesome dude.
I liked it more when you guys were all shouting out the sponsors rather than Raz. His ego doesn't need feeding, but the show.
Every caller. Love you, brother.
Thanks, Fez, for the call. We'll catch you next time. All right. We're going to take a quick break. Mark, don't get our last caller yet. Because, guess what, everybody? I know. I'm envious of Courage and his special flavor, but Courageous Sherbet is back. Mountain Dew Game Fuel. It's back in stock. Ran out pretty quick last time. I don't know if you guys had a chance to try it. It's available in both regular and zero flavors. If you're looking for something that's no calorie, that's an option for you. But it's a fantastic taste. I actually really, I hope that they come back with some way to make this permanent. Maybe, I don't know if they can, because they have to give this guy some money every time one of these sells. But it's a really great flavor. And I didn't know what to expect whenever I first had it. But I'll tell you what, I actually, because I was a little worried that because it sells out so quickly, I was a little worried that they wouldn't be able to get me a case or two before it did, because they have to go through the process of using a bunch of, there's logistics involved in ordering it for me versus just ordering it from the site. So actually last week I just manually went on the site and bought it using my own code so that I would make sure I have one case of it before it sells out. And that's what I have here. But fantastic flavor. If you've tried Mountain Dew Game Fuel, but you haven't tried the sherbet flavor yet, please go to gamefuel.com/Travis. Use code Travis when you check out to save on your order. And again, they have it. I know some of you guys do not like the calories on it, so they have that in a 0-calorie flavor as well. And whenever you guys do use my code, I think it's great when you guys use my code to buy his drinks, because that's kind of fun. So please go do that. If you do order it, I mean, if you order any, it's always great whenever you guys tweet at me or let me know, and you tag Game Fuel. But especially for this, please let me know, because it's cool whenever you guys go and buy the limited edition flavors. And some people already saw that it went back in stock and bought some using the code. So thank you to everybody who did that. But again, gamefuel.com/Travis. Use code Travis at checkout. Really appreciate it. Almost as much as I appreciate Death Ray gifting 5 subs in the chat right now. Thank you for the gifted subs. Mark is off to grab our final caller. Notorious Bubble is here. Thank you for the resub. Arvigs, Prophet Guru, John G365, Dan297, Dr. Noli, Pokemans, Nodak gifted that sub to Captain Flowers, Demaxis, Shampoo, and I think we're all caught up. Oh, Badger Jar. Thank you, Badger Jar. Badger Yar. We got Cheong here. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Cheong.
Okay. Well, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Jersey.
New Jersey. What do you want? Oh, have you called in previously?
Yes, I have.
Yes, I remember.
Third time on the show, I think.
Yeah, welcome back. What do you want to talk about on the show?
So my take is pretty spicy after the last caller, is that 100 Thieves is going to make semifinals and be our best team at Worlds this year, and help reestablish NA as a major region after we lost their seed.
You said semifinals?
Yeah. So I'll go into depth about it a little bit. So just looking at 100 Thieves as a team, they outperformed Cloud9, who imported perks, and they outperformed TL with the European Superstar team and Core JJ. So with that, FBI's top tier. Closer's clearly the best jungle in NA. Abba is consistent, and the last time NA did really good at Worlds, Reaper was the head coach with a not expected Cloud9 roster to go as far as they did.
And so, given all that, I'm hearing a lot of reasons why they've done well previously, but don't you feel like they're going to face much greater challenges than they faced in North America? I feel like players like Faker, Showmaker, it's a little different.
Well, that is true, but I mean, Closer showed last year at Worlds that he can compete with the major regions with a Turkish lineup. So he's going to probably prove again, or he should prove again, that he is a world caliber jungler. And then
he was on Golden Guardians last year.
Okay, so it was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
So yeah, 2 seasons ago he showed that he was world caliber jungler. And then I believe FBI and Huki are going to be consistent enough in the bot lane to step up and help carry the team when teams like to do the Camp Someday tactic, but Someday has also shown that he's been consistent enough on a world's level and a domestic level that he can be a good weak side top laner and let us play our style through playing through bot lane.
Do you have this take regardless of what teams they end up getting in groups?
So in a way, yes. I mean, obviously it'll be a lot harder depending on what team they get paired up against. Like if they have to go against Dom wanting groups, it's going to be a lot harder to get semis, but I believe they'll at least get out of groups, and then depending on who they have to play in playoffs or qualifiers for the championship, I believe they can make it to semis.
Do you think? Okay, hang on really quickly? Do you think there's a chance they get out first in their group?
Yeah, depending on seeding, obviously. I mean, the ones that I don't think they'll take first off of is like FPX and Damwon, which are the 2 favorites to win Worlds, I believe.
Because that's my concern is I feel like, especially because of the fact that they're going to have a pool 1 We lost our pool.
Yeah, we lost pool 1.
Yeah. So I feel like it's gonna be really difficult to get first in the group, which means even if they do make it out, then they are playing a first from another group. So I just feel like Raz, go ahead.
I've constructed the team. I've constructed the group that 100 Thieves can get first in.
Okay. I'm excited.
And I'm gonna send it
Mark,
to
are you paying
scriptwriters.
attention to this?
Maybe they can get it on the draw. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
PSG Talon, first seed. Okay. There's hope there. All right. Rogue or T1. Just putting that out there, one or the other. I'll take it. Okay. And then from a team from the plains, since we don't have an LPL team, very likely we're going to be LNG. So I think that is our best chance. Our best chance.
So it's PNG, Rogue, or SKT.
PSG. Rogue or T1, but I'll say Rogue because, like, if people are saying they'll choke, then you know what? If you're going to have faith in that, European fans, then 100 Thieves has a chance. Okay? PSG Talon, LNG, that's their one shot. And even then, I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, so.
But that's the easiest group you were able to construct for us.
That was the easiest group I was able to make for you.
Because I'm gonna say that group doesn't sound that easy.
Because there has to be, guys, just so people know, there has to be an LPL team in every group, okay? So just because you got PSG Talent as your first seed doesn't mean you've escaped them. You've got to find the worst LPL team. So you had to get LNG in this group. So there's no other way.
I mean, as Papa's saying in Twitch chat too, if all 4 teams make it through for LPL and LCK, then there needs to be one in each group. So you can't get Rogue. You have to get... Your choices are you can get Dom 1 or T1, or you need to stick one of each, because you're only going to be able to get one from the play-in. So
it's not happening, guys. It's never happening.
It's pretty fucking tough. Every North American team needs to outperform either LPL or LCK team to get out, and a European team that's probably going to be in the group too. Worlds has gotten harder. I don't know if people realize this when people are like, man, North America sucks more now, they're doing worse in recent years. And it's like they made Worlds harder. Before you had 3 representatives from each major region, the last couple of years there's been 4 from a couple. Of course those teams are usually going to be better than wild card emerging region teams. And even if the instance where they lost, like Mad Lions lost last year, that it still at least guarantees that the team that made it earned that spot. So Worlds is just getting harder. All right.
Okay. Well,
remove the 4th seed from the good regions. Why?
True.
Why do they need to be there? They're not going to win Worlds probably.
Viewership.
PCS needs more spots.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Give more opportunity to CIS, the Turkish leagues, Brazilian teams.
Separate Australia and
North
New Zealand
America,
so they can get a slot. We need a New Zealand team at Worlds, is what I'm saying.
I think they should do a pro AM tournament. We should get some amateur teams in there too.
Hey, you know what? Is the UK a part of the European Union? Give them the world spot. Give them a world spot.
You're so smart. It hurts.
Huh. Well, I've learned a lot today. I hope John Needham, head of esports at Riot Games, is paying attention, because
just click this and email it to him.
Yeah, actually, he doesn't have Twitter, which is, I think, such a terrible situation. We can send this to Martel. He's on Twitter.
You can make a VHS tape and just leave it in their mailbox.
I'm patting myself on the back.
That sounds like serial killer energy right there. I feel like you said this guy a VHS tape.
I'm gonna cut out the letters from a magazine and put it in there with it.
Let me ask you, what's the point of Worlds? It's to find the best team in the world, right? We're already doing that with the 1, 2, 3 seeds. It's not going to be a 4 seed.
I think the viewership from
I shouldn't make.
I think they wanted people to watch plans, and throwing an LPL team into plans is usually, I think, a pretty great way to help with that.
Yeah, let's just make all the other regions depressed doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Chinese market cares. No 4C will ever win Worlds. How about that?
Okay, caller. So these guys are just shitting all over your 100T take. Do you want to
Well, I
give
didn't
them
even
the
address
tea?
that yet. I just said we just talked about how hard it was going to be. So that's why it's going to be so amazing when 100 Thieves pulls it off.
Ah, okay, okay.
Because they're I like them.
Caller, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think of the energy these guys are putting out around 100T?
Nah, I understand why they think it will be hard, but I mean, if we just hold on 1 second, let me collect my thoughts.
Sure. Power up.
Yeah, power.
I needed a lot of time to create
power
that
up with
group
game
too.
fuel.
While you think, I will say I do like 100 Thieves a lot. I know some people are not super optimistic on them, but I do think they're going to be really good. I think Reaper does a good job in general of preparing his teams for Worlds and having tricks up his sleeves, and I think he understands the format better than some other organizations do, where they're trying to figure out the meta. But if you can sneak a win with something let's bust out it's the Singed or whatever, I feel like there's always those kinds of things where Reaper's going to try and get ahead of the meta. And I think Closer looks like a beast. I hope he can keep that level for Worlds, because they're going to need that to get out of groups.
I hope he can play at Worlds.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming. This whole call falls apart if he's not there. So assuming he gets there, he needs to play at this level that we saw at the end of playoffs to have any hope. And the bot lane needs to actually be probably the best bot lane in the group to be a pressure point, because I think there's going to be situations where Abadage and Someday will be outclassed by their solo lanes. And of the carry positions, I feel like I'm most confident in their bot lane to not get hard outclassed, but I think that also depends on who ends up in the group.
Okay.
And a less morbid point about 100 Thieves, if they are not able to get the visa for Closer on time, they can always make the same, the same meme, power up the same meme from 2018, just send Closer back home. You send him back home.
By the way, I see Kelsey Moser's been in the chat. It's her birthday tonight. Happy birthday, Kelsey. I appreciate that you've decided to spend your birthday evening watching Hotline League, as all people should on their birthday evenings. But happy birthday,
Must have been an exciting day.
I know she's still around. Unlike Captain Flowers, I think she sticks around more than 5 seconds. All right, Cheong, thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out before we ramp up the show?
Just shout out Travis Gafford Industry and the sponsors as always. Shout out 100 Thieves of Papa Smithy, rooting for you guys at Worlds this year. And that's about it.
Never mind, Kelsey's AFK. Anyway, thank you, Cheong, for the call, and we'll catch you next time. And we'll invite you back on the show whenever they make it to semifinals, and you can do the victory lap after quarters. After they've knocked SKT out or something. All right, thanks so much.
They're gonna knock Damwon out too.
Yeah, okay. Let's get you off the show real quick. Okay, thanks so much. All right, that is the show. Thank you to everybody who called in. Mark, what do you got for us? What do you want to shout out? What's going on?
Nothing.
Mark came over today, and he just talked about how bored he was. So
that's true.
Damn.
I will say that we are trying to put together, or I'm trying to put together, like an Uno stream this week sometime. I'm trying to convince Mark to be on it. I have bribed his girlfriend in an attempt to encourage him to come on the show.
True.
So we'll see, or the stream. So hopefully we're playing Uno with him and some other people. Raz, do you want to play Uno?
I'm awful at Uno.
Perfect. You're the best
Uno.
person to come on. Do you want to play? I'm asking you now in front of hundreds of people.
It's probably a no, Travis, but I'll have to check my schedule.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Wait, I'm looking at my schedule. It says no.
Oh, really? Because you were just talking about how unbusy you are right now, but maybe you've got some
His entire schedule is full of the skip cards.
furniture building. Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Skip.
All right. Well,
True.
at least we got Mark on, so we'll do an Uno streamer. Oh, somebody in the chat says, "Are you sure it doesn't say Uno?" Thank you,
smart chatter.
thank you, Ren Zero, for that. That was a great one. I appreciate that. All right, Raz, what do you want to shout out?
Shout out to you know, there's a trend here in the show. A lot of the guests said the same thing. Shout out to Rez. So you know what? Hell yeah, Rez.
You're gonna give
God,
yourself
that
a shout
sounded
out.
That sounded so much better in my head.
Yeah,
Holy
well-
shit. All right. Well, you know, shout out to Game Fuel, Alienware. That was a big plus. You know, I will be definitely now putting in the work. You know, Worlds is coming up. Big plus on that one. Goddamn, what else? I'm going to be doing a few things, so I'll announce it on my channel. So, you know, follow me on twitter.com/RazLCS. I'm about to say Razzleplasm, but I change it so often. So RazLCS. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Group draw on Wednesday. It'll be fun. It'll make Hotline League fun next week too.
True. And for the caller's sake, pray for that group. I'm just saying.
When's the group draw?
Worlds is decided in the group draw.
All right. Anyway, thanks so much, everyone, for watching the show. Hopefully you enjoyed whatever just happened. It's been Hotline League, episode 189.